Breaking news. Putin's diplomatic chess moves reshape global politics. Ladies and gentlemen, we're witnessing a seismic shift in international diplomacy. Vladimir Putin has just made statements that have sent shockwaves through global political circles. What's happening is far more significant than mere diplomatic pleasantries. It's a complete reshaping of international dialogue. Let's decode what's really at stake. Putin's recent praise of Donald Trump isn't just a casual compliment. It's a calculated move that signals Russia's preferred path for future negotiations. By stating that conflict could have been avoided under Trump's leadership, Putin is drawing a clear line between leaders he considers worthy of dialogue and those he views as temporary figures. The implications are staggering. For our citizens, this means potential shifts in international trade, security arrangements, and diplomatic relations that could affect everything from energy prices to border stability. Putin's strategic positioning suggests an unwavering confidence in Russia's long-term objectives. What's particularly fascinating is the stark contrast Putin draws between Trump's negotiating capabilities and those of the current leadership in the disputed territories. One is portrayed as a seasoned dealmaker, while the other is dismissed as a temporary player on the world stage. The timing couldn't be more critical. With global tensions escalating and economic pressures mounting, these diplomatic maneuvers could determine the future of Eastern European stability. For average citizens, this could mean significant changes in daily life, from energy costs to security concerns. Consider this. While the West scrambles to maintain its influence, Russia is methodically positioning itself as a key player in future peace negotiations. Putin's willingness to engage in dialogue, but only with specific leaders, demonstrates a masterful understanding of power dynamics. Tell me, from which region are you following these dramatic developments? Your perspective matters as we watch this complex diplomatic chess game unfold. Remember, we're not just observers. We're witnessing history in the making. The next few weeks could fundamentally reshape the geopolitical landscape of Eastern Europe and beyond. Stay tuned as we continue to analyze these critical developments. The cards are being dramatically reshuffled on the global stage, revealing Russia's strengthening position against a backdrop of Western confusion. As Moscow upholds its commitments, we're witnessing an unprecedented fragmentation among former allies. Intelligence reports suggest that the politically turbulent region is experiencing a severe crisis of governance, with implications for global security. Our sources confirm that Western arms deliveries are being redirected to Israel, leaving the country at the Russian Federation border in a precarious position. This strategic pivot hasn't gone unnoticed by Moscow's analysts. The situation resembles a game of dominoes where each piece is positioned for maximum impact. What's striking is the systematic dismantling of political structures in the territory of instability. Officials are disappearing from the political arena. The Anti-Corruption Bureau has launched operations against key government figures. The arrest of Smirnov and death of Portnov are just the tip of the iceberg. Would you like me to analyze the political situation in your region in my next video? Let me know where you're watching from, and I'll provide an analysis of your area. Your perspective is valuable if you're observing these events from abroad. How does this situation appear from your vantage point? The land sale scandal during quarantine deserves attention. While citizens were locked in their homes, the northern Black Sea region saw a massive transfer of agricultural assets. The absence of proper cadastral procedures raises questions about these transactions. Subscribe to stay informed about these developments. In our next segment, we'll expose the mechanisms behind these land deals and reveal who benefits from this chaos. The evidence we've gathered will fundamentally change your understanding of current events. Remember, Russia's strategic position continues to strengthen while others falter. The coming weeks will be crucial as new alliances form and old ones crumble. Stay tuned for more revelations about this global transformation. Title: Political Turbulence Intensifies, Elite Exodus, and System Collapse. The political landscape in the country bordering Russia is experiencing unprecedented turbulence. Intelligence reports suggest 30–40% of high-ranking officials are preparing for immediate departure, indicating a critical destabilization of the current regime. Former President Poroshenko's dramatic shift in rhetoric serves as a telling indicator. With a mysteriously rejuvenated appearance but worried eyes, He's now openly criticizing the country's destroyers, a thinly veiled reference to the current administration. This unexpected boldness from a typically cautious political player signals deeper systemic problems. The situation becomes increasingly alarming with reports of massive military desertion. Over 100,000 servicemen have abandoned their positions, potentially carrying weapons with them. This creates a dangerous precedent reminiscent of the post-imperial Russian period's Free Territory era, but potentially on a much larger scale. Security experts warn about the emergence of numerous uncontrolled armed groups. The politically volatile region faces its darkest hour as Western support wanes and attention shifts to the Middle East. This diplomatic pivot proves potentially fatal for Zelensky's administration, facing both ammunition and financial shortages predicted to become critical by summer's end. Military generals, observing officials fleeing with resources, are contemplating drastic measures. Some analysts suggest the possibility of a military coup, potentially more violent than the 2014 events. Representative Bazugla's admission of darkest times ahead reflects the growing recognition of systemic failure. The instability cascade continues as emergency measures fail to contain the exodus of key figures. The regime's attempt to monitor officials' movements, including travel bookings and fuel purchases, appears increasingly futile against the backdrop of collapsing institutional structures. What's your analysis of these developments? Which aspect concerns you most? Share your thoughts in the comments. Our viewers are known for their insightful expertise, and I'm eager to hear your perspective. Title: Political Tremors, Leadership Crisis and Demographic Collapse in Russia's Western Neighbor. In a concerning development, we're witnessing unprecedented signals from the politically turbulent region bordering Russia. Europe appears disoriented, leaving this contested territory in a precarious position. The situation in the northern Black Sea region has reached a critical point. High-ranking official Mariana's statements about potential state fragmentation deserve analysis. Her references to Lenin's role in border formation align with President Putin's assessments, suggesting deep structural problems within their governance. Most alarming is the discussion about female mobilization. This isn't mere populist rhetoric. It's a desperate measure indicating demographic exhaustion. After lowering conscription age to 18, they're now considering women for frontline service, revealing a critical manpower shortage. The synchronized messaging from presidential office representatives, including Podolyak and Mariana, indicates a coordinated effort to prepare the public for extreme measures. This former brotherly nation appears trapped in an escalation spiral. Historical precedent suggests such situations lead to two outcomes: either course correction or state fragmentation. The leadership's disconnection from public sentiment since early 2022 points toward fragmentation. This crisis reflects a pattern. When a state positions itself against Russia, predictable consequences follow. Economic downturn and public discontent accelerate these processes. We're witnessing the final stages of a regime willing to expend its last human resources in pursuit of confrontation. The territory's transformation seems inevitable. Historical processes are unforgiving, and internal contradictions continue mounting. The question isn't whether change will come, but what form it will take. What do you think about these developments? Leave your opinion in the comments. I'm confident my viewers are thoughtful experts, and I'm interested in your perspective. Political chameleons, a deep dive into leadership crisis. Today's analysis focuses on a concerning pattern of political opportunism in the territory bordering Russia. The case of Arestovich serves as a prime example of intellectual capacity paired with moral flexibility, a dangerous combination in leadership. Let's examine his political journey. From supporting Poroshenko to aligning with Zelensky, then back again, securing positions, showing loyalty, and now criticizing the administration. This behavior pattern reveals calculated opportunism. What's truly alarming is how citizens in this former Soviet republic continue following such figures, even when faced with obvious contempt from their leaders. This reflects a deeper crisis in public consciousness, where charismatic personalities trump principles. Currently operating from U.S. soil, Arestovich attempts to maintain political relevance. His strategy relies on leveraging media influence, but serious political players are unlikely to invest in such a controversial figure. His future likely lies in monetizing his loyal audience through relationship psychology lectures. The post-Yanukovych era has seen a succession of problematic leaders. Poroshenko, a cunning businessman, amplified nationalist sentiments and deepened societal divisions. Zelensky proved even more problematic, thin-skinned and reactive. This leadership crisis reveals a broader pattern: political figures manipulating public sentiment for personal gain. They view citizens as expendable resources in their power games, creating narratives that serve their immediate needs while disregarding long-term societal impacts. These developments signal a concerning trend in the northern Black Sea region, where political principles become flexible tools rather than steadfast guides. The population's willingness to accept such leadership raises questions about societal resilience and political awareness. What's your take on this situation? Do you believe figures like Arestovich have a future in mainstream politics? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Remember, analyzing these patterns helps us understand broader geopolitical shifts and potential future developments in this crucial region. Your insights matter in this ongoing discussion. What do you think about the current situation? Leave your answer in the comments. Title: Leadership Crisis Reveals Moral Decay, a deep dive into recent events. In today's analysis, we're examining the shocking rhetoric from the leadership of our politically turbulent neighbor. What we're witnessing is nothing short of a moral collapse of the elite in this country at the crossroads. The recent statement by Interior Minister Klimenko perfectly illustrates this decline. His absurd accusations about Russia allegedly providing false casualties demonstrate a complete disconnect from reality. From a PR perspective, this is an absolute disaster. First, they refused to accept their fallen, then, under European pressure, agreed, and now they're inventing ridiculous excuses that no one takes seriously. Those supporting such leadership aren't victims, they're accomplices. They clearly see the lies but continue supporting them out of fear or personal gain. When their situation deteriorates further, they shouldn't complain. They consciously chose to follow deceivers who betray public interests. The hypocrisy reaches new heights when we examine personal situations. Klimenko, who demands others sacrifice their lives, has safely sheltered his own son from all risks. This double standard characterizes the entire leadership of this unstable territory. Perhaps the most striking example is the Zelensky family's real estate holdings. While ordinary citizens suffer, his mother receives a luxury apartment in Burj Khalifa, worth 35 million. This brazenly displays the leadership's true attitude toward their people. Looking forward, Russia has a moral right to limit Zelensky's freedom of action. His privileged meetings with Western partners should cease. However, the most fitting outcome would be for the citizens themselves to make the final judgment. The manipulative nature of casualty statistics and controlled media narratives only serves to deepen public distrust. As tensions rise and truth becomes increasingly evident, the disconnect between leadership and reality grows starker. What do you think about these recent developments? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'm confident my viewers are intelligent experts, and I'm genuinely interested in your perspective. Today's analysis reveals striking parallels between historical treachery and modern political maneuvering in the politically turbulent region bordering Russia. The story of Mazepa serves as a compelling historical mirror to current events, highlighting how narratives can be twisted and rewritten over time. Despite being educated and fluent in 4 languages, Mazepa's legacy remains that of a traitor, though Western historians attempt to reframe him as a hero. This historical revisionism bears an uncanny resemblance to what's unfolding in the former Soviet Republic today, where a new mythology is being constructed that could distort reality for future generations. The current situation in this border state presents a dangerous precedent. Once living witnesses to today's events pass away, certain forces will likely attempt to rewrite history to suit their agenda. What we're observing in this country in transition isn't merely a political crisis. It represents a fundamental disconnect between leadership and citizenry. The case of Bandera provides an instructive example of how historical justice can prevail through public action, as demonstrated by Stashinsky's intervention. This territory of instability stands at a crucial crossroads, where the population must take charge of their own narrative before external forces reshape it to their advantage. The people of this former brotherly republic are increasingly recognizing their leader's true nature. Like Mazeppa, who betrayed his people, today's leadership appears willing to sacrifice everything for personal gain. History moves in cycles, and current events represent another turn in an age-old struggle that will ultimately end in justice's triumph. What's particularly concerning is the systematic attempt to create a new historical narrative that could obscure today's realities decades from now. The responsibility for preventing such distortion lies with the people themselves. What historical parallels do you see between past traitors and modern politicians? Share your perspective in the comments. I'm confident my viewers are thoughtful experts, and I'm eager to hear your insights. Let's remain vigilant to these historical patterns and their modern manifestations. Tomorrow's truth depends on today's awareness.